Why are we using credit cards to survive?
It was around $141,000 was the
and I have $17,546 of debt.
We were $41,000 in credit card debt.
Or youth so that they don't get trapped in credit card debt.
The credit system in Canada is a fucking scam.
Let's just say it has a 20% interest rate.
Canadians have missed a credit card payment in just the first quarter of this year.
Who have no idea how bad my financial situation is.
What do you fucking do in there? What do you do?
$1,000 is on my car. The rest of it is all credit cards.
Well, $22,000 of credit card debt into their mortgage.
$1,900 of credit card debt, and I'm tired of it.
I'm feeling very beat down by life right now. And
a bad debt trap. Credit cards.
Welcome to Canadian Rant, where we talk about the real struggles that no one in power seems to care about. Today's reality: credit card debt is at record highs, not just in the US, but right here in Canada too. Families are drowning in interest payments, minimum balances, and financial stress that never seems to end. For decades, we were told, just manage your money better. But how can you manage what's already gone before payday? When wages haven't kept up with inflation, when rent eats half your income, and groceries take the rest? People turn to plastic not for luxury, but for survival. Now banks are celebrating record profits, while everyday people are crushed by double-digit interest rates. It's not financial management. It's modern-day slavery dressed up as convenience. And while politicians point fingers and corporations cash in, the truth is simple. This system was designed to keep you in debt. Not to help you, but to own you. So if you're tired of being told it's your fault, hit that subscribe button. Because today, we're exposing the truth behind the biggest trap in modern life: credit card debt.
The credit system in Canada is a fucking scam, and I'll prove it in 60 seconds. Let me break this down for you. Customer 1 has $300,000 in unsecured debt. Pays on time, never missed a payment, handles it like a machine. But guess what? Their credit score is under 600. Why? Because the system punishes them for using too much credit, even though they manage it perfectly. Customer 2 has 2 credit cards, $1,000 limit each. Pays them off in full every month, barely uses credit. Credit score? Over 800. Now you tell me, who's more financially capable? One managing $300K in debt flawlessly, or the one babysitting 2 credit cards at $1,000? Here's the truth. Your credit score doesn't reflect your financial intelligence. It reflects how the banks want you to behave. It's a game and it's rigged. In my 15 years of lending experience, I've seen people with millions in assets and dogshit credit, and I've seen broke people with perfect scores. So stop chasing a number and start building a real financial power. Tell me in the comments, have you played by the rules and still got punished by the system?
Canada's debt problem is getting worse, and it's hitting young and lower-income Canadians the hardest. Here's what you need to know. A new Equifax report shows that 1.4 million Canadians have missed a credit card payment in just the first quarter of this year. And when it comes to car loans, missed payments among those under 35 jumped by 30% from last year. Mortgage stress is also rising, especially in Ontario, which is driving more homeowners to switch lenders in search of lower rates. Experts warn that if you're missing payments, don't wait to get help. Credit counseling from reputable nonprofits like Credit Canada can help you out before things spiral. Follow for more personal finance tips.
A bad debt trap. Credit cards. This is the #1 bad debt that keeps people broke. I feel like a lot of people, when they open a credit card, don't even know how much interest they signed up for and what actually gets you the benefits of using that particular credit card. If you have a high interest credit card, you're paying more just to have it. And it sometimes can be up to 20% that you're paying for. So let's say you wanted $200, that's almost 20% that you're paying in interest. Bro, that's ridiculous. If you can't pay it off monthly, it's bad debt. And if you want to create a proper budget that's going to keep you successful every single month, hit the follow.
Why are we using credit cards to survive? Today on the Newswire, we're going to talk about credit card debt. In the last year, credit card debt has risen to over $1.1 trillion, an average of just over $10,000 per U.S. citizen. That's a lot of money. And this is my take on it. Because so often we use credit cards to just balance out life. It's a tool. And people are scared of credit cards. Yeah, there's a lot of interest. And so understand the tool. Understand what other tools are available to you. But here's the question I ask.
What is the highest amount of credit card debt that I've seen on a loan application? Had someone ask me this. It was, may not have the exact number here, but it was around $141,000 was the highest one I ever saw. The minimum payments on that one, if I remember right, were, if you added all the cards up, was somewhere, I want to say it was about, I think it was about $4,800 a month.
I'm 29 years old and I have $17,546 of debt. $15,217 of those dollars are from credit cards and $2,319 from my car. And you guys are probably wondering why I'm sharing that, because it can be pretty embarrassing. Being in this much debt feels really isolating, but I love watching other people's payoff journeys, and I want to post this so that maybe somebody else will feel a little bit less alone. So I have a goal to pay off all of this debt in the next 10 months. So I'm going to be sharing what I'm doing, how I even got in this situation to begin with. So follow along and leave a comment if you also have this much debt.
Every $10,000 that you put on a credit card and you don't pay that $10,000 off, it is going to cost you $61,417 for that same exact purchase. If you put $10,000 on a credit card, most credit cards have an interest rate of about 20% to 30%. But let's just say it has a 20% interest rate. You bought a bunch of random things, maybe did some Target runs, you bought some big ticket items, and you had $10,000 on that credit card. If you did not pay off that credit card right away and you started to try to make payments on that card, making minimum payments over the course of the next decade, that same stuff would cost you $61,417. So next time you decide to swipe your credit card and go deeper into debt, you're digging that hole even deeper, ask yourself, is this stuff worth $61,417? Because this is the huge problem that people do not understand when it comes to credit card debt. It is robbing you of your financial future. It is destroying your financial future, and you have to take hold of it right away. Otherwise, it is going to be like a thief in the night and just rob you from every single thing that you want in life. And so I encourage every single one of you, if you are in credit card debt, treat it like a pants on fire emergency and try to pay it off as fast as you possibly can. Otherwise, you are going to be paying this off over a long period of time, and you're going to be paying a crazy amount of money and interest to banks who do not deserve your money whatsoever.
Currently drowning in $60,000 worth of debt. I decided to create this secret account to hide from my friends and family who have no idea how bad my financial situation is. My husband works 72 plus hours a week. By the time bills and minimum payments for our credit cards are paid for, there is chump change left for groceries and gas. I'm at my wit's end because I don't know what else to do. We don't even have extra $10, $15 to throw towards debt at this point. And I see that this trend is working for a lot of people. They're trying to pay off their husband's trucks. I'm really just trying to get in a better financial situation because my worst fear is that my husband can't go to work or something happens and we lose everything. We have no savings. We have nothing to fall back on. So please help me out. Engage from the bottom up. Hit all the buttons. Tell me how much debt you are in. You are not alone. Let's help each other out. There is enough to go around on this app.
Why do you have so much debt at 20, dude?
Yeah.
What have you done?
$26,000 is on my car. The rest of it is all credit cards. The biggest chunk of it all really started whenever I was out of a job for about 2 months. I was putting all of the rent, all of the food, everything on just credit cards. I had a decent job. My roommate had a kind of shaky job, and then he didn't have a job. For the first few months, he was getting money from his parents or family or whatever, trying to make his part, but that's not sustainable. So, I had to start picking up his half. There was a 2-month period where neither of us had a job, so.
And how was that conversation with the roommate when you were taking on all the bills?
We had the same conversation of me just being like, you gotta figure out a way, and then there was no way being figured out. So
Did you get fired?
Yes. So I was trying to quit. I wanted to quit, but I didn't want to just like leave them because they were short staffed. We had stuff coming up. So I was like, okay, I'll quit in a month or two or something like that. But then like after a couple weeks, they said that my head wasn't in it anymore. So they just quit.
What was the
They just
job?
fired me. I was a QC at industrial piping type business. So I just like checked the orders and sent them out to the trucks and stuff.
Okay.
Anybody else like me and you had to use your credit cards after COVID and use them and all that awesome credit? You had high fucking availability of credits to you, and you said, I'll be all right. I'm going to pick up more work. I'll be okay. And now the chickens are coming home to roost. Yeah. Before you get in the comments and say, oh, you got to work more. You got to get a better job. You got to fucking shut the fuck up. Okay? I have 2 jobs. I work 7 days a week, and I have something on the side. It's still not enough. Shit gets away from you. It just does. Shit happens in life, okay? I had my identity stolen on top of that. That was a whole fuckery. I did get that money back, but it just started this whole snowball of bullshit. And I know I'm not alone. I know, but you look around and you're like, I see stadiums full. I see concerts packed. I see fucking people out to eat everywhere. Places are crowded. I see fucking $120,000 brand new trucks driving by. Like, how? In the place I live, 45 minutes outside of Boston, I see some of these fucking houses. I'm like, dude, I drive by and I go, what do you fucking do in there? What do you do? How do you, what the fuck? How?
I started this year with $21,900 in credit card debt, so let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Emily, and I'm 31 years old, and my husband and I are focusing on getting rid of any and all debt that we have. And like I said, we started this year with $21,900 of credit card debt, and I'm tired of it. I am so freaking tired of it. I'm tired of being the debt payoff girl. I'm tired of being the credit card girl. I don't want to be in credit card debt anymore. I don't want to even own a credit card. Like, I'm just done with the credit cards. I literally can't do this anymore. So let's talk about how far we've come, not how far we have to go. We started this year with $21,900 in credit card debt, over 8 credit cards. And we're down to 2. One credit card has $3,660, and the last credit card has $5,800 on it. And I honestly could cry because I just am so proud of us and so ready for this journey to be over. But that means all we have left in credit card debt is $9,460.
I'm feeling very beat down by life right now, and it's honestly part of my own stupidity. I did not realize back in 2024 we put my daughter's teeth procedure on the Care credit card, and I didn't even look at our statement because it was on the app. And so I just go in there to pay it. And today I just went in there to look at the balance, and it was up to $2,500 instead of $1,300 because the promotional deferred interest period had expired. So now they added $1,300 worth of interest. Every time I think I'm getting somewhere on this debt, something else just comes up, and it's like impossible to even live anymore or to not have to put everything on the dang credit card because we live paycheck to paycheck anymore. And I'm so over it.
Let's talk about something so real, and it's gonna probably blow your mind, but I honestly hate having days off. I know it's super important to rest and, spend time with family and doing all of those things, but I guess the stress of days off is just, I know that I'm gonna spend money. I'm gonna wanna go shopping or run errands, even do essential things like groceries or going to Costco. Just stresses me out because I know it's just gonna dwindle our bank accounts even more. And quite frankly, I have little to no self-control, and it's probably why I got into this hole in the first place. Because instantly I go to the mall because I need to run an errand and I see cute clothes for my daughter or something nice, and I'm like, well, I work so freaking hard, I deserve this. When that could be an extra debt payment, that could go towards my credit card, that can knock down some of my student loans. So that's truly why I hate my days off. I want to get better at it so I can learn how to enjoy my days off, spend less money, but that's just the nature, I guess, of myself. I don't know if it's ADHD or just bad habits that I never got rid of. But yeah, I just wanted to have a real moment with you.
I almost didn't post this because saying it out loud feels quite a bit exposing. But here it is. We were $41,000 in credit card debt. And for months, I knew that it was accumulating and I refused to acknowledge it. We were juggling bills. We had 2 mortgages that we were paying for because we could not get the other one sold. I totally was avoiding adding it all up because I did not want to know. Not knowing felt way easier than actually tabulating and figuring out that number. But then I sat down one day and I opened every single account and I added all of the bills up. Every card, every statement, the ones that I use and the ones that my husband uses that I have access to but never use. And the full number was $41,000. And I just sat there numb. Like, I couldn't even cry. I sat there in disbelief because how in the world did we get that much? We had just been debt-free the year before when we had signed the mortgage on the house we're living in right now. And it didn't happen all at once. It was small choices. It was both of us not really acknowledging what we were doing. And it was life. It was chiropractor, doctor bills. It was our fridge broke, this broke, all these different things, and hoping something would shift, and it never did. So I'm a bit ashamed, but I'm trying not to be shameful because I know I'm not the only one in this situation. This isn't a story about shame. It's about finally facing what felt too big to name and realizing that facing it is kind of where the freedom came. So that's my story. We had $41,000 in debt on one salary, and I had no idea what we were going to do to try and pay it down. And I felt so trapped.
Shelly and Tom rolled $22,000 of credit card debt into their mortgage at their mortgage renewal. It felt like a win. The statements stopped and the payments dropped. But here's the trap. If nothing else changes, that balance creeps back and you've just turned short-term debt into 25 years of payments. Shelly and Tom together earn about $165,000 in household income. Tom works in sales, making about $95,000, while Shelly works in marketing, bringing in around $70,000. On paper, they looked fine, but here's the reality. They had about $5,000 in savings sitting as an emergency fund, $22,000 on credit cards, and a line of credit at nearly 19% interest. And every month, they were shelling out more than $700 just in minimum payments. When they rolled the debt into their mortgage, that $700 a month in freed up cash flow was their turning point. Instead of letting it disappear into lifestyle creep, they committed to restructuring. Tom took $10,000 over the next year from the freed up cash flow and a bit from the emergency fund and contributed to his registered retirement savings plan. At his income level, that triggered a $3,100 tax refund on tax filing in March. And instead of spending that $3,100, they put that refund straight into a tax-free savings account. Suddenly, their picture looked different. No more high interest debt eating up cash flow, $10,000 in a registered retirement savings plan working for retirement, a tax-free savings account with a $3,100 starting balance, plus an automatic monthly contribution to keep it growing. But the real change wasn't the numbers, it was the behavior. They kept their emergency fund, so the next surprise didn't go back on Visa. They automated investing so it wasn't optional. Instead of going out shopping to spend time together, they spent time building a plan that met both of their objectives and dreams. And they made a rule. Their mortgage wasn't a crutch for every financial mistake. The lesson here? Refinancing and registered retirement savings plan refunds can give you breathing room. But unless you fix the habits that caused the debt in the first place, you're just pressing a short-term reset button, and history is bound to repeat itself. True financial freedom isn't about quick fixes, it's ultimately about structure and behavior. In my next video, I'll break down the 3 main buckets Shelly and Tom had to learn about: registered retirement savings plans, tax-free savings account, and non-registered accounts. Follow along if you want to learn how the system actually works.
First of all, fuck credit card companies. And 2, we need to do a better job educating our youth so that they don't get trapped in credit card debt. I just left a lunch presentation I was invited to, and we were talking about housing, but afterwards a gentleman came up to us and said, hey, I already own a house, but like, is there anything I can do? I have more credit card debt payments monthly than my friggin' mortgage. And he's like, I know it has nothing to do with housing, but you guys seem pretty smart, and I can't figure out how to get, how do I get rid of this debt? And first of all, I'm super glad he had the courage to ask, because I'm pretty sure we're gonna be able to get rid of that entire debt without him having to refinance the house and lose his, I think he said he had a 1.75% interest rate, which is ridiculous. But because he has equity, he can do what's called a HELOC, which is a home equity line of credit. And if he's able to do this, he only needs about $20,000. But because it's such high interest rate debt that he has now, it's over $1,000 a month that he's paying just to pay minimum payments and not even move the needle on the debt. And the lender that was with me was like, you are going to be way happier with a HELOC. You have the equity. We still have to do the application and everything, but this is looking like you're going to save a ton of money monthly. Get out of this high interest rate credit card debt by leveraging something you already have, the asset, your home, your primary home, your home's equity. And essentially he'll take that payment that's larger than his mortgage payment down to less than half of his mortgage payment, which for someone that's on a more of a fixed income like that is going to literally change his day-to-day life. It'll probably cover both of his car payments. That's how big of a difference it'll make to that family, that household monthly. And so the first thing I want anyone to know watching this that's made it this far is ask the questions. Please. The best thing about that entire lunch meeting was almost everyone asked a question. And that usually when you're in a room full of people that don't know you, they just don't want to ask questions because they don't want to look dumb. Everyone was asking questions. It was pretty awesome, by the way. And number 2, if we can't get this through in our education system, we need to start talking to each other, like figuring out ways to, I don't know. I was inspired by the fact that, yeah, it's not something you get paid for, but I don't know, helping other people and changing their lives. There's something about that as a human that is better than a job and getting paid. I don't know. I guess they call it paying it forward, right? Some people call it good karma, but I have a pretty good following on here, and platforms like these can be used to share these kind of tips and spread this kind of knowledge and get the word out there. But for some reason, it just, the fear and the hate and the crap seems to be what gets spread. So why can't we use this to spread the knowledge and the good stuff and the feel good and the helpful tips that save a family $1,000 a month and can be literally the difference between you stressing over bills and having extra money for your family? That's got to be an awesome feeling, right? Let's use social media for that. Let's channel some more of that stuff on this app.
Let's be real. Debt used to be something people took on to build a future, a home, an education, a business. But now, it's survival. Credit cards have become lifelines for the working class and chains for the middle class. The cruel part is how normalized it's become. You buy groceries on credit, pay utilities on credit, cover medical bills, emergencies, and sometimes even rent on credit. And then, when you can't keep up, they slap you with 25% interest and late fees. They profit off your struggle. In Canada, the average household owes more than $1.80 for every dollar they earn. In the US, the total credit card debt just passed $1.3 trillion, the highest in history. And the banks? They're celebrating, because your pain is their business model. It's not about financial irresponsibility. It's about a system that thrives when people suffer. A system where credit isn't a safety net. It's a trap with velvet walls. Think about it. When was the last time you saw a bank struggling? When was the last time you saw a CEO choosing between food and bills? You don't, because the system works perfectly for them. But this crisis is doing more than draining wallets. It's draining hope. People are working harder than ever, yet falling deeper into debt. Families are delaying dreams. Seniors are retiring broke. Young adults start life already buried in payments. And still, the message is the same. Be responsible. But maybe the real question is, who's being irresponsible here? The people just trying to survive, or the institutions that built an economy on debt and called it freedom? This isn't just about money, it's about power. Because when you're in debt, you're easier to control. You work longer hours. You stay quiet. You accept less. But the truth is, we can't stay quiet anymore. It's time to demand change, to call out predatory interest rates, endless fees, and a system that profits from misery. So if you're one of the millions feeling trapped, know this: you're not alone. You're not lazy. You're not bad with money. You're living in an economy designed to keep you paying forever. Let's start changing that, together. Drop your story in the comments.